Good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is 9 a.m., February 7th, 2024, on a Wednesday. Glad to be with you. My apologies for not doing a video yesterday. My mic was having issues. I had to plug it in and set it up again, and I was just up against the clock. So my apologies there. In terms of yesterday, it was rather choppy anyways, so not much going on other than Palantir soaring 30%, which I wouldn't have chased anyways. But it's good to see that stock went up yesterday. It is pulling back a little bit pre-market. Let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. Make sure to type in your questions in the chat box. Let's go around the horn. Dow futures up 64 points. NASDAQ up 80 points. We're getting very close to the point of the breakout that we wanted. This is why we're long QQQ. We have the 430 calls. We are in the money on Apple currently. We traded Tesla on Monday. I didn't get to go over that, but Nick, I believe, did on his video yesterday on Discord. S&P 500 futures 49.91. 49.97 is the resistance. That's the high. 1966 up 0.30% on Russell. Yields are up. We have a very, very important 10-year bond auction today at 1 p.m. So the goal is to kind of get out of everything ahead of that. That's 1 p.m. today. 4.113% is the yield currently. That will change possibly. $10 index is down. It has been up the last couple of days. That's what's been holding back Bitcoin a bit. 43,385 on Bitcoin at the moment. We're going to keep an eye on that. Obviously, I still have Mara going. Some people closed it, but I have it. So we will see how that goes with Bitcoin moving forward. Crude oil is up 0.85%, $73.94 a barrel. $2.24 for gasoline futures. That's green. Gold futures are flat. Silver's down 0.28% at $22.41. Apple is starting to break my alert of 190.20. That's great news. We have the 190 calls. Euro dollar 107.72. That's up 17 pips. 148.17 for dollar yen, up 22. Keeping an eye on the NASDAQ as we speak. 17,750. That's the level I was looking for to go long, but I'll talk to you guys while I do it. While I go over it. We'll see if we get into that, or maybe Nick fills that. Dollar Canadian dollar down 29 pips, 134.65. Pound dollar 31 pips, 126.29. Bitcoin 43,410. I apologize for my pup. 23.87 down 0.23% on Ethereum this morning. Bitcoin leading the way in crypto. All right, we got a lot to go over. We have the ticker at the bottom showing all the pre-market moves. Let's take a look at NQ this morning. This is NASDAQ futures. 17,793. That's the recent high. Let's see if we get there. I'm going to bring up my tab here. And I have my tablet always here while I'm looking at the screen because I use that for Discord personally and to talk to my staff. So my apologies. But again, 17,750. I'm looking for a break above there, which we did. And once we do, 17.8 is next, obviously. That's where we'll move our stops if we go ahead and go long. In terms of a stop, I want a little bit of room, 17,685. That's a smidge below the 50. But again, it's setting up inverse head and shoulders. We talked about this. Set up. That break is coming today. The question is, does the 10-year do it? Or do we chop in the morning? Or do we soar and then we pull back ahead of the 1 p.m. bond signal, bond auction? Let's see. All right, let's go over Tesla. Tesla we hit on Monday and puts the 175s for premium and the 180s that were in the money for masterclass. So a nice double dip for everybody. That's a good way to start the week. And let's see if Apple and Qs can take us home. Getting a breakout here on this trend line here on the 1 hour. Keep an eye at 190, 196. I'm going to place an alert there. That is your 200 MA on the 1 hour. If that does break, 196 would be next. We could always target that, Jeff. But again, above 192 or so is what I'm looking at because that is a nice breakout of that trend line. The only issue I have is that Palantir 2 weeks ago did the same and then reverted back and then earnings it soared. I'll show you an example. Let's go to the daily. And you can see that we had this downward trend line on the daily. The breakout gap filled, chopped, and then soared. I was 2 weeks too early on this name. Guys, we had the 19 calls 2 weeks ago. Imagine that. We got reversed on right here. So all of this was trash chop, and then we got the sword job. Again, look at the previous resistance, 2186. We're back below it again. So be careful. If we do get a break below 1976, we can look at shorting Palantir. Yes, I know I hate it, but see if we can fill this gap here to 1794. Just to trade it. I still love the stock long term, but just wanted to let you know. But Tesla, that is what I'm watching. We are oversold as well. Above 192, we'll take a look at the options volume, maybe for next week. We'll do the 197s. Really what we're looking for is up here at 205.58. That is the daily gap fill that we had from earnings. You could see that here. That is your 20. So we still got more to go. Let's see if we get that break today. Let's see. What about Qs? Yep. Qs, we are in the money now, 430. We were here yesterday, right there, and then we fell right at 9. So really what we want is 430.24. And then once we break that, guys, 432.5 would probably be the next setup for a little bit more room. But it looks like we are going to continue to break out here, which is exactly what the doctor ordered. Let's see. BABA. BABA reported earnings today. They're doing a stock buyback. They were green this morning and pulled back. So you could see it there. It needs to get above 80 before we do anything. In terms of the stock, it filled that 1 hour gap from a couple of days ago. I think it was Tuesday. So that was all that China equity prop up. Don't short stocks anymore by law sort of thing. That's the People's Republic of China, the PRC, with their economic deal, kind of keeping things in order. Not exactly free markets, but neither are ours either. We got stimulus and the Fed printing as well. We've done that. So it's nothing really different in terms of economics. But BABA right now, I mean, what more can you do at this moment? We just have to see the price action and see if we can at least bounce above 80. That's what we're kind of looking for. But as of right now, I'd skip it. Just too much volatility in China at the moment. Just have to wait it out. Upside for SPY calls. Yeah, SPY is breaking out. It's about to break all-time highs. I mean, I already have Qs and Apple, so I don't think there's any point to get in on SPY. If anything, I'll do ES. But 500, that looks to be the next target. 500. But again, at all-time highs, technical analysis is rather redundant. It's just reality. JPM. Let's see it. JPM, love the stock. Let's see, 178.30. That's your break level. That's what you got to look for a breakout. Then you could target 180. But other than that, again, all-time highs, guys. Very difficult to trade. Microsoft above 410. We're at 405, 407.85. Yep. Probably your best bet would be to wait until the actual break. But the only thing I worry about is getting to 410, and all we have is space till 412. So not the best setup. The best bet would probably be wait for this break here on 412, or even just wait for 415, and then you could do 420s. Nice. Apple percentage target. We're going to get that today. Let's see if we get that break first thing in the morning. The goal is really, my main target was 192. If we could tag that today, we're out of it. We're done. But if we get 40%, we'll leave a runner and go from there. The last thing I want is a reversal for you guys. Last time we got around 35% was Palantir. Last time we got 20% was Goldman Sachs. Both flipped. So it's kind of like we have to be, it's the pullback between get as much as you can to not losing. And you kind of have to perfect the exact time. Remember, these expire this week. We get some stupid ass headline, we're going to flip. And I don't want that to happen to everybody. You're welcome, Josh. Tesla. Again, guys, breakout of that trend line. We're looking for a break of 192. Then we could take a look at 196 next week or the 200s. That's what I'm looking for. AMD. I saw an AMD question. AMD below 164.54. If you guys remember, that's where I shorted 5 hours too early, and then it soared. As of right now, you're just being into one big choppy zone. You're going to have to get above 180 or so, or above at least 175 for us to even have a discussion. I hope you got that there, Ray, regarding AMD. It's just stuck in a range. PayPal, 64.46. I want to break above 66.19. Once that does, we do have a gap to fill right here at 72. So waiting patiently for 66.19. I saw a question with Roblox. Roblox is in the same scenario as SoFi and Palantir. These are high betas and they soared. Fine. But guess what happens? They eventually pull back. So do not chase this. If you get above 47, because we got that pullback now, fair. That's fair by me because that is a big, big level of resistance. If we get that, we could start targeting 50 to 52. But you got to get me above 47. Look at this beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple top. Very rare. That's going to break. Guys, that's just, you knock on the door so many times. Eventually, the door is going to open. That's what I said about QQQ. We are in the money currently. Yesterday, we got to right here, pulled back, chop, and then now we're starting to cook. That's exactly what we want. DraftKings. The thing about DraftKings that upsets me, and I still have the 37 calls from March, deep in the money, hit 200%. There's no volume for next week. This week, I don't want calls. I don't want calls ahead of the Super Bowl. I want calls after the Super Bowl. So March already fits that bill. If anyone's keeping runners, I know I am. So DraftKings, again, I need some damn volume for February, mid-February and beyond. Right now, I don't want anything for this week. The big catalyst is the Super Bowl. How many people bet? That's what we want. Maybe if Kansas City wins, that's bullish. Who knows? Or whatever. Snow. I'm going for Kansas City anyways. Snow looking good above 220. Yes, above 220 is what we want on Snow. The only issue I have is the volume. So if we do break above 220.55, 250 is the next target. Probably need to buy some time. I know, pain in the butt, but that's what we got to wait for, Jeff. And there was one other question I had this morning. Mara, yes, I still have calls. Yes, it pulled back yesterday. Yes, we broke some moving averages. And yes, we filled the daily gap. It really depends on one thing and one thing alone. You guessed it. Bitcoin. You got to get above 44,000. That is the key. We have to be above there. The faster, the better. Once we break 44,270, we have as high as 48,000 to go. Where do you think Mara's going to go in 2 weeks if we get to 47,000, 48,000 on Bitcoin? Maybe Super Bowl weekends are for crypto. They're not going to have any commercials this year, probably. SN. I don't know what SN is. Do you have, is it part of a ticker? Is it another ticker? Just let me know. Pre-market movers are at the bottom as always. They're as updated as about 10 minutes ago. I can't update as we go along, unfortunately, at least through typing. Apple at 190.46. That's in the money. Qs are in the money as well. That's where we are this morning. Looking good. Looking good. I mean, this is exactly what we want. This is exactly, we need to have some good momentum for everybody to get back into the winning approach. Last 2 weeks sucked, man. It's just the reality. We just got to get better. Same thing with Tesla. Third time I'm going for it. But again, I know you guys want a piece because we had a really good trade on it on the put side. And it hit 180 target. Like I said, it hit that 180 target. That's what we're looking for. For those who are looking to, let's go ahead and buy here. Again, give it some time. Tesla has been going through the ringer with all these headlines. It has. So we just kind of have to wait it out. Kind of like Boeing, for instance. They were just getting hit with everything. The downside risk is 163. Seems like we're creating a little bit of a base here right around the 180 level. So again, 190 currently. Let's see if we get that break and go from there. Shark Ninja. Never heard of it. Is that the vacuum cleaner? Possibly. The Shark anyways. It's chop between 46 and 53. I mean, there's not really much I could say. Is this an IPO of some kind? 40. It's above the weekly 20. But other than that, I mean, there's not much to do here. But that's the first time I've heard of that name. Looks like luck is coming our way today, guys, because this is exactly what we needed. So definitely am excited for the open. I will keep you guys up to date as always. SPY's about to hit new all-time, or ES about to hit new all-time highs, and Q about to hit new all-time highs. Apple is already breaking, and Qs are about to break all-time highs. This is exactly what the doctor ordered, and I cannot wait to get started on the day because Lord knows I understand where everyone's coming from. This is not easy, guys. This is definitely not easy what we do every day. The hardest part of what we do is not the entry. Anyone could throw an entry. It's the exits. The exits are the hard point because of the fact that we have to use runners because we don't know what could happen. If you hold too long, it turns into Palantir and Goldman Sachs, where we just flip 30 and 20% respectively. If we close too early, it turns into Tesla, where it goes all our way and that thing hit a bag 100%. What can we do? So it's a very delicate approach on what we do. We take our time, and let's see if we can get on back on the winning way. So far, so good this week. BABA, I would not touch it until you get above 80. Can't touch it here, unfortunately. Buybacks are not enough anymore with Chinese companies. Target for Qs. Well, obviously 40%. And the reason I say that is because it expires this week. We get a flip because of that 1 p.m. bond auction. We're screwed. And it's Goldman Sachs and Palantir all over again. So 40%, we leave a runner and we see where we go from there. Unfortunately, we can't afford to be greedy. Things are just so choppy. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. For holding wise, I'd rather be in NASDAQ futures, not QQQ calls, because futures do not have time decay. They don't have theta burn. Options do. So we just have to be careful. Just want to give you that heads up, guys. So if you're somebody that wants to ride a little bit more of the NASDAQ, then I would recommend futures because you don't have to worry about expiry in terms of theta. All right, guys, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great rest of your morning. Team, I'll catch you guys on the server, and let's make it a great Wednesday and kind of set ourselves up to go for next week. So we get Qs, we get Apple. We're done for this week in terms of expiries. We'll start taking a look at next week and see if we can add to that momentum and make it a great Super Bowl weekend. Have a great rest of your morning. I got one more. Sorry. Ford reported earnings as well. They're pulling back a little bit. Let's take a look rather quickly at the daily. Yep, rejecting. Did it break that 200? It did. So right around here, we need to get above 13 or so. And I've traded Ford before. So 1293, I traded with Masterclass last year. If we can get above 1293 to 13, there is a nice gap to fill here at 1489. So let's put that alert, see what we get. We know earnings can be volatile. Remember Palantir yesterday? And we'll take it step by step. That's kind of the target we're looking for if we get continuation. It is above the 200-day on the daily. Very, very important. Nothing good happens below the 200-day. So we need to get above it. So let's see what we get. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you then. Cheers.